What's going on, base heads? Today I'm going to show y'all an easy way how to draw out your circles and cut those out on your baffles. A tool you can make to do it. It's really easy, pretty much free. I'm going to show y'all how to cover up your screw holes after you screw your box together, and I'm going to show you how to screw your wood together. It's real easy to split the wood on your box when you screw it together. Say you're going to screw this top baffle on and you screw down into it. Well, this piece on the bottom is real bad about splitting open. So I'm going to show you what to do to keep everything from splitting, how to fill in these holes and smooth them out. We'll go ahead and do that too in the video, and I'm going to go ahead and cut this baffle out and show you how to do it an easy way. To start off with, this is a compass that I'd made. Really cheap, really easy to do. If you don't have a way to make a perfect circle big enough for your speaker, these being 18s, it's hard to find a compass that big. I took a paint stick, and what you want to do is draw a dot on one end. And then I know that mine's a 17.2 cutout, so I divided that by 2, which was I think 8.7. You put a dot, you measure out, say 8.7. If it's an 18-inch speaker, you put another dot. You go ahead and just put a screw just barely poking out on this end, and then another one on the other end, measure it again and get it where it's exactly where you want it. And then what you're gonna do is the one on this end will be the one you hold. You gotta know exactly where your center of your sub is. So I measured everything out, knew my center lines, right there where the center was. You just hold this screw down, kind of poke it into the wood, take this other one, and just slowly go around. Just put a little bit of pressure on it to cut a little tiny groove. Just keep doing it over and over until you get a nice little groove going on. And then you take a pen or a pencil and you just fill in the groove. That way, that little groove, when you go to cut it out with your jigsaw, you'll have a perfect circle, and the groove will kind of guide your jigsaw blade and pull it around on that line, so you're not wandering off the line and making it wavy. The deeper you go with the groove, the better it's going to follow that groove. The reason I did the top first is because I wanted to hide the screw holes on the top baffle. So you can see when I take it off that there's a lot of screws on the bottom. So what I wanted to do was make a second baffle that's going to go over that and hide all those. And I didn't want to have to try to fill in a whole bunch of screw heads. And I also didn't want to try to screw through 1.5 inches of plywood either. So I went ahead and screwed the bottom on. I went ahead and screwed this top baffle on in the corners. That way I can figure out where I want. Well, I did it first to use the router and get everything smooth. And then I can measure out where I want my holes at, take it back off, go cut the holes. And that way I can put it back on, screw the corners back in, and go ahead and trace my holes for my bottom layer. And then just take this off and go back and cut the bottom one. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. I'm gonna trace these out, cut these out. Then after that, we're going to get the Bondo out, and we're gonna go ahead and fill all these holes in, and I'll show you how to do that. And then after that dries, we're gonna sand the whole box down, make sure everything's smooth, round it off the way I want it, and then we might go back with one more light coat. And after that, we'll sand the whole thing down and get it ready for paint. All right, what you wanna use to drill your holes, you need a countersink bit. That's gonna go ahead and pre-drill your hole for the screw, and it's gonna sink it down in there where it's not gonna stick up and you can fill in the hole later. But you wanna make sure this is a little bit smaller around than your actual screw. That way your screw is gonna have enough teeth to bite into the wood after you drill the hole. Make sure you put it in enough that your head's going to be under the wood. That way, whenever you glue this top baffle down, you put your glue on, set it on, hit these 6 screws, it'll suck it down nice and tight. And then either you can take the screws back out after it dries, or you can just fill in the holes. I'm just gonna fill in the holes. Not gonna go all the way in right now because I'm about to take it back off to cut the holes. I just wanna make sure everything's lined up perfect before I trace it out. All right, so now I'm gonna go in, trace out my holes. I'll pop my screws back out. All right, now I'm gonna take the jigsaw, cut them out. First, you gotta cut a hole. Either you can use a hole saw or a drill bit big enough that's bigger than this blade. And you drill a hole as close to that line as you can, and then you cut them out. All right, time to glue the second baffle on. I'm gonna spread some glue out around here, and then I'm gonna take this paint stick and I'm just gonna smooth it out so it's all nice and smooth and lightly coating pretty much the whole thing. Then when I stick it on and screw it on, it's probably gonna spew out the sides, make a big ass mess, and we'll have to sand it down. Already pre-drilled my holes, so I should be able to line it up pretty easy. Do it slow, let it adjust itself back in. Alright, the holes are cut. Both the baffles are on the top. We'll come through and fill in all these screw holes with some Bondo, fill in all these, let that dry, sand it all down smooth, sand all this, hit that with a sander, get all this smooth and flowing good, working together. And then we'll go in, caulk the inside, and get ready to paint it. All right, my dudes, we're about to go ahead and mix this Bondo up and fill in the screw holes. Anybody that's worked with Bondo before knows how this works. If not, it comes with this spreader. You've got a hardener that you mix with the Bondo. The Bondo's gray, the hardener's red, and you want to mix it until it's the same color as this spreader here. So you're gonna slowly mix it and chop it up, trying to get all the air out. And once it's close to the color of this, that's where you want it. You hurry up and go in and fill in your holes before it dries. If it turns out more red than this, then it has too much hardener and it's gonna harden too fast. And it's probably gonna harden before you can get it done. And if it's more gray than this, then it might not harden all the way. So you gotta make sure you get it pretty close to being right. I think typically you wanna do just a little bead over your, oh, this one's blue. Why the hell would they do a blue hardener? Never seen that before. It's a mess if you don't put enough hardener in it and then you fill in all your holes. That kind of sucks. Alright, so due to the blue hardener, I put too much hardener in it. It dried way too fast, but it ain't nothing but a thing. All I gotta do is go back, sand all that down flat, get it real smooth. And then I'll come back, mix less hardener in it and do it one more time. And then it'll be good. I'll sand it one more time from there and it'll be, I mean, that shit's rock hard already. It ain't been but 10 minutes. I ain't never seen blue hardener in Bondo before. I sure know how to mess some stuff up and then come back and fix it, I'll tell you what, man. So I ran out of sandpaper I only had a little bit of sandpaper at the house. But all the holes are pretty much filled in. I just got to sand them down a little more and get it flush. Then I'll have to go over a few spots with a real light coat. But for the most part, it's filled in. And when I get some more sandpaper, I'll hit it one more time, primer the whole box, and then yeah, let it dry and we'll be ready to paint.